Cuisine that will be remembered. For lunch or dinner, harbor60.com.
I'm no good theremin music anymore. I really miss the theremin as a lead instrument. It's 9:25. It's Stafford for Oakley on this Wednesday morning. We've been talking about a whole bunch of different things, and now I want to talk about things that go bump in the night. This isn't any particular story that's out of the paper or you can see on social media. This comes from the mysterious life of one Lindsay Vanstone, and it's not your place you're living in here.
No, this place doesn't have any activity, but our homes, our family homes, seem to now, whether it's following around a particular person or is attracted to an object, or because I've been looking into this type of paranormal activity, but I went up north just last weekend and happened to be just, sitting around on the couch.
Yeah.
When all of a sudden, and if you believe in ghosts or paranormal activity, there's a difference between like a noise when the house creaks or something, or when you just know and you can even sense exactly where that sound came from.
Right.
So kind of our big front entrance way, and it went tick, tick, tick. Like there's nothing else. There's no other way to describe it. It was 3 ticks, and it didn't sound like a mouse running across the floor or anything else. Almost like a tapping, but tick, 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 tick. And so, froze in my tracks, knowing exactly what it is and just trying not to pay too much attention to it until later you hear, shh.
Ooh.
And, and the third thing that happened was probably my own fault because eventually I'll kind of start sometimes talking to whatever it is. And I'm like, if that was real, if I really just heard that, then do something else. And it didn't happen right away, but later a cup flew across the room. And not just the kind of thing where a cup could have fallen off the counter when your back is turned. I'm talking the lid went and almost hit me in the legs, and I was several meters away. So, but this isn't the first time we've had paranormal activity in our homes. When I was young, we used to play with Ouija boards. And I remember playing with some girlfriends, and one of my friends slammed it on the ground, and we couldn't turn the lights back on in the basement after that. All of the candles went out. It was absolutely bizarre. That was probably my worst absolute experience with it. We've had around right on Christmas, talking about our grandparents or something, and a ball falls off the tree and smashes.
While you're discussing them.
Yep.
And they passed.
Yes. And a picture has fallen down of people that are no longer with us when you're discussing them. And you just get that hair standing up on the back of your neck or on your arms feeling. And you just know. But I don't feel threatened by the energy. I'm not overly scared by it. I'm a little scared because it makes me jump when I hear a noise or something. But I'm a believer.
Okay.
Are you a believer?
No. And I've had this discussion with Jody. She likes watching the ghost hunter shows and stuff like that.
Of course.
These are the guys with the ultra-sensitive equipment. And what was that? What was that? And they'll play it back on a loop and stuff. And a little of that it's reality TV. A little of that, I think, is staged. She had one occurrence that she's related to me, and I'm probably getting the story wrong again. She and her brother, who's a good guy, who's best man at my wedding, they were having a discussion about their late mother and how they're both Jody and her brother are Star Wars freaks, and how mom took them to see Star Wars and she fell asleep, and they were having a good laugh. One of those discussions you have about a parent you miss. One of them had a Boba Fett helmet that was on a bookcase. As they're talking about mom falling asleep at Star Wars, the helmet flies off the bookcase.
See?
And that just, to this day, still freaks her out.
She wanted to be part of the discussion.
Now, the Newton's conservation laws, energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It can only be transferred. So your belief would be that the energy of a former physical corpse.
Right. So when you die, you actually die, but your energy lives on, and it goes, and it can be attached to other things, and there's different forms of them. But over time, and this is often happens with ghosts, unless people are paying attention to them, they lose their energy over time. It just starts to kind of fade away. But you'll hear homes that are particularly haunted by a certain, civil war or something like that, where it maybe has a stronger connection or energy. I was remodeling a home in Oxford County as part of this project I was doing, and we all had to sleep over in this house. We have pictures, and I wish I could find them for you. I'm looking through my email of ghosts in this home They moved the cameras around. They took one of the still cameras off a tripod, put it in the mud. I'm talking people that would never put camera equipment that's expensive like that in the mud. It just wouldn't be one of us. And we actually have still images. One of them looks like a woman with a bonnet and a dress. This was a really old home in Oxford County. And one is the face of a man, looks like he has a beard. And in 3 different shots, he gets slowly closer to the camera. It's bizarre.
I've seen the shows. They're the two British ladies who've done this. I think that was a Canadian produced show. There's the Ghost Hunters show, and to the point where they've even gone to the Riviera Hotel before it's now due to be demolished on the Las Vegas Strip. And they went into this room that apparently Frank Sinatra spent a lot of time in, but he didn't die there. That's the thing. And I don't know why are you going to this hotel room. Frank died in his home or en route to hospital in Los Angeles in 1998. They went to the Rose Hall, which is, if you've been to Montego Bay, Rose Hall is that plantation, because Johnny Cash used to be there. And Johnny Cash didn't die at Rose Hall, but they were hoping to talk to the man in black, or at least get some indication of the energy, if you will, of the late Johnny Cash at Rose Hall. So I find their technique to be a little weird. You just don't go to a hotel room in Vegas hoping to be in contact with Frank Sinatra. Wouldn't you want to go to his home in Los Angeles where he died in 1998? It's very entertaining, and I know my wife is convinced about the Boba Fett helmet. Let's see what you think. 416-870-6400, star 640 on cellular. Would you like to get a couple of pros and like go with them? I mean, have you talked to any paranormal
Shaq's
people?
Paranormal actually reached out to me on Twitter and said when they are doing a ghost hunting, that's what they call it, expedition in the Toronto area, they would invite me to come. They're going to host, there's this new scary movie coming out, Insidious 2, and they're hosting, the premiere for that. A lot of people buy into this stuff, and there are haunted walks. Like if you go to Niagara on the Lake, they'll take you on some of these haunted walks. I have a lot of different stories with this, but there's a home in Niagara on the Lake. I don't know if you've heard of this story. It's on the corner. I could get the street for you. All the windows are boarded up. And apparently, if you go to the 3rd floor of this home, there are watermarks 3/4 of the way up the walls on the 3rd floor. And it's just extremely haunted. When I went to walk by it with a friend, we were going to go play Mickey Nine Doors on it. Huge boom crash comes from the inside of the house. Whether you believe or not, if you're just open to it, maybe you experience more things.
All right. Well, 416-870-6400, star 640 on cellular. I'm always haunted when someone suggests, let's go to Niagara on the Lake. That to me is a haunting feeling. Very scary. Oh, wine tour. No. Let's go to Wayne. Wayne, how you doing this morning?
Hi, Mike. Well, I don't buy into a lot of the conspiracies, like I'm not a George Norrie listener. But I guess, I don't know, like I've never personally experienced paranormal, but, I often think like there has to be something beyond, the earth. Like when we pass away, obviously our physical body's dead, and I mean you could probably take it in a lot of directions spiritually, which I'm not going to do, but I don't know. I guess anything's possible is probably the best way I could put it.
Okay, so you don't know if you believe, you're open-minded about it.
I guess that's what I would say. I part of me feels like I'm a religious person, but then I can't totally say that I am. Like I'm open-minded, I guess. Yeah.
All right, I appreciate the call. Let's go to Tom. Tom, you got a story for us this morning?
Absolutely. About 3 years ago, me and my wife, we lost our 9-year-old son to a drowning accident. When we had buried him, my mom had died a few years earlier and had a knitted blanket. We put the blanket in with my son because he always used it. About 6 months later, I came home, and there was the blanket sitting on the couch. I asked my wife where it came from. She had found it outside. We had moved. It was outside under a bunch of stuff and snow.
Okay, that's freaky.
Absolutely.
And you saw the blanket go. You saw the blanket.
We called the funeral home and confirmed with them that they put it in.
Okay. So you have their confirmation and no other way to explain how that blanket ended up after you moved.
Not only that, it was my mom's blanket. Why would we throw it outside on the ground?
Of course.
The snow melted. We found it.
Hair on my arms is standing up.
Yeah, the hair on my back is standing up right now.
All right. Well, you need to shave your back. Appreciate the call. I'm sorry.
On the promo, we've got a lot of good things.
Level 5 Robin Williams hair. Oh, wow. Daniel, we got a couple of minutes here before we have to break. Daniel, how you doing?
No problem, Mike. I'll be real quick. It was Christmas Day night, and my grandmother, we knew she was about to pass away. She was at my mom's at the time, and we had just visited her Christmas Day to basically, we knew it wouldn't be long and say our goodbyes and stuff. So that night, we actually lived in Port Credit, and a girlfriend of mine at the time, we were lying in bed at night, and we had the bedroom door open. We could see through the kitchen. And we were lying there and watching TV, and all of a sudden I see a shadow, like it was clear as day, go by. And I went, okay, I didn't say nothing. I was like, hey, my mind's playing games with me, right?
Right.
And all of a sudden, second time it happened, and she goes, did you see that? I go, yeah. I go, did you see it twice? She goes, oh, yeah. I went, okay, there's Grandma. And that night, she had passed away. Just not shortly after that, we got the phone call. And I was like, okay, so, the first time you see it, you don't say nothing. You think you're, like I said, your mind's playing tricks.
Yeah.
And then she said, did you see that? And it was like, yeah, did you see it twice? She goes, yeah, but I didn't want to say nothing either. And I was like, okay, there's just Grandma saying goodbye to us. She's all right. So, yeah, so that was,
well, one person, okay, you've been thinking about your grandma, and she's dying.
Right.
And, your mind will play tricks with you, but it's two people in the room seeing the same thing.
Exactly. That's why the first time I didn't want, not that she wouldn't believe me, it's not why I didn't say it, but, because I do believe in that stuff, and there's been other incidents over my life, but, yeah, it was like, when I was going to pipe in and say, okay, did you see that the second time? Before I even say anything, she said it, and I was like, okay, good. It's not just my mind.
It's not just
something just went by, and it was my grandma. So that kind of brought comfort to me. I mean, it was sad when we got the phone call, but at the same time, it kind of brought some comfort, if you believe in that. So that was pretty cool.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. The blanket story that had the hair, I have none left on my head, but standing on end. You think of, okay, the wife, I mean, it was their son who passed away, and it was mom's blanket. It was the son's favorite blanket. Did someone not go to the funeral home, perhaps, and just weren't willing to part with that blanket, and didn't say anything and brought it home, and somehow it ended up outside? It was drying out in the backyard and fell, and then the snows came. Well, Lynn's got a warning for Lindsay. Lynn writes, Lindsay has invited demons into the house by her occult practices. Very dangerous. Our energy moves on is not true. Our spirit goes to heaven or hell. The demons can imitate dead people as a way to get you and delude you and pull you in. You're listening to Nighttime in the Daytime, but not in the desert. I'm your host, George Norrie, and we will return with a call from west of the Rockies on Talk Radio AM 640. Time for Did You